Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome to the talk for the Virtual Open Day for 2020 here at Liverpool Hope University. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this talk about degrees with Foundation Year. My name is Liam Owens. I'm the head of Foundation Year at Liverpool Hope, and I'm just going to talk you through the general components of what the Foundation Year with us involves and some of the pathways that you can actually follow if you were to come and join us next year. There we go. Okay, so the foundation year with us at Liverpool Hope University is 120 credits, and it's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to get more of a feel and understanding, basic understanding about the degree pathway that you might want to choose in terms of your subject, but also for you to ingrain yourself in what university life actually is. And we have an array of different students that come to us for foundation year, some who may not have got the grades that they want for A-levels or BTEC, some might be coming back into education from industry or just want a new start. And we actually have some students who feel that they need just that extra year to be able to develop some of their personal skills or their academic skills in preparation for the subjective degree that they actually want to choose. So the successful completion of a first year of a degree program with us for foundation year is 120 credits, and I will talk you through how that's broken down very shortly. But then once you complete the foundation year, that then allows you to progress onto your chosen subject related degree. Now, we have as I said before, we have a number of different students that come in different pathways for us within foundation year. And usually they go down one of three different pathways. So they either focus towards the foundation year that is based at Hope University at Hope Park. They either focus towards the one again at Hope University through Creative Campus, or they follow a sport-related pathway that goes through one of our partners at Carmel College. And again, I'll go through that very shortly. So the foundation year is not just focused towards the subject-specific development, it's also focused towards developing every student individually, whether on a personal level or on an academic level. And it focuses towards a number of key components. So whether that's developing your skills of becoming an independent learner and understanding what learning processes are, whether that's through academic work and how you structure an essay or a presentation and do it through a study skills focus, or whether it's through additional skills for personal contact. So critical thinking, time management, note-taking skills that will help you not just inside the classroom, but also across university life and wider areas as well. Now, the foundation year program is a full-time course. It is run over the full 26 weeks of teaching that we currently have, and it forms the first year of what you would have as a 4-year. So you would have 1 year on foundation year, and then the subsequent 3 years will be focused towards your subject. Regardless of whether you do the foundation year or not, you have full access to the university support systems, so access to the library, learning support, student wellbeing, student union. You have full access to the range of university services that any student would have regardless of which degree pathway that you went down. So as I alluded to before, we have a number of different pathways that our students usually go down. So usually it's down the arts, humanities and social science route, or the science related route. They're based at Hope Park. Or we have our creative subjects, which are focused at Creative Campus. And then we have our sport provisions that go through our partner at Carmel College. And depending on which pathway that you go down will slightly influence the weighting of what you actually study. And I'm going to spend most of this presentation going through what that actually works out to be. So the first part of this presentation focuses towards the foundation year at Hope Park. So we have it broken down into 3 different strands. So as you can see, the enhanced learning is the biggest strand that we have. That is half of the 120 credits of foundation year. And this focuses a lot more towards the study skills. So focusing towards developing your academic and personal skills to prepare you for whatever direction in terms of subject that you want to go into as you progress through Liverpool Hope University. So this we focus towards presentation skills, how to structure different writing pieces, so how an essay might be structured slightly differently to a report, how we actually form introductions, main body and conclusions, but also what the academic standards are for us at university, because they differ to what you might have had previously at school, at college, or other higher education institutions. So that's the enhanced learning block, that's 60 credits. But you also have to choose 2 subject related topics to cover. So 130 credits from the blue box. So you choose one of education, humanities, or environmental and health science. And you choose one from the green box. So one of social science, business, or maths, computing, and psychology. Now, if you were to choose a science related discipline, so that's the environmental and health science, or maths, computing, and psychology, you would do the enhanced learning in science. If you didn't choose a science related topic, you would do the enhanced learning in the humanities related areas. However, the enhanced learning is exactly the same in both of those blocks. It's just the way that we structure and tailor some of the content so it can supplement some of the things that you might do within your subject. So just to finalize this slide, we've got 60 credits on enhanced learning towards personal skills and academic development. But then we have 2 subject blocks that you choose, one from the blue and one from the green, related towards those subjects, and you study subject related content that you can utilize some of the skills from your enhanced learning block within. So in terms of a lot of the direction that our students go when studying these blocks, these are the usual degree pathways. So as you can see from education, we have disability studies, early childhood, education, special educational needs. Then we've got our humanities block, so things related towards English language, English literature, history, law, a number of possibilities there. The same with social science, so criminology, childhood and youth, social policy, health and well-being. And then we've got our business block, where our students usually go on to degrees within accounting and finance, business, marketing, and tourism management. From our science blocks, again, environmental and health science, students who usually choose that subject within that block, actually go on to do a degree within biogeography, nutrition, environmental science. And then for the maths, computing, and psychology choice, students usually go down the route of computer science, IT, maths, psychology. So you will note with this that you have to choose 2 subjects. So one of them will be aligned towards the direction that you want to go in for your degree. And depending on whether you want to do a single honours or a combined honours, the other subject you choose may or may not have a direct impact on your choice of degree once you move through foundation year. So again, just to recap those so everybody's familiar. So you choose either education, humanities, or environmental health science in the first 30 credits. You then choose one of social science, business, and maths, computing, and psychology in the second subject. And then everybody will do the enhanced learning, regardless of whether that's from a science or a non-science perspective. So just to give you a little bit more of a flavour about what's covered in some of those blocks. So from your first choice of within the blocks of the blue, we've got education. So the understanding is, what is education actually about? Who does it relate to? How does it impact in terms of what happens within society, but also other areas of development? So things related towards pedagogy and understanding what learning processes that not just children, but also young people and adults go through as they progress through life. Understanding how development can impact what happens within not just a school environment, but everyday life, and understanding how historical events have actually impacted on how education has progressed, and that has impacted on the development of children and young people moving through the education sector. So that's the first choice. The second choice is the humanities block. This focuses a lot more towards history and considering religion and ethical approaches towards not just society, but also on an individual level. So does what happens in society reflect your ethical approach to a particular topic? Do you agree with what's going on in society? And there's a number of impacts of that at the moment that we can see. But there's a lot of reading towards literature, historical language, and analysing how this language has changed through time and how it might impact how we perceive not just society, but also ethical and religious constructs to be in this current state of time. So humanities is the second choice within the first subject block. The final choice is your science related topic, and this is the environmental and health science focus. And this block is split into two parts. So half of it focuses towards environmental science and half of it focuses towards health science. So the environmental science is a lot more focused towards geography and the natural environment. So understanding what the natural world is, how it's actually formed, but how we can actually utilize our practical skills within field-based investigations. So understanding how to use the land, how natural hazards impact on how different developments of business can actually occur, but also understanding how soils and pollution impacts the natural environment and where people actually habitate to. The health science focus goes more towards a biological and a nutrition focus. So focusing towards the anatomy and physiology of the body, but also how the impact of nutrition impacts people in everyday life, but also going on into different environments such as sport or health or any other area of nutrition towards dietetics. So that's your third choice within the first block. That's the environmental and health science block. So the second block where you have to choose a subject from, the first choice is social science. And the first question is always asked within this block, similar to what was in the education block, is what actually is social science? So it's actually understanding how politics and welfare impact everybody within society, not just within this country, but on an international scale. So it talks around areas focused towards social division, talks towards health and social care, but also how they have direct knock-on effects towards work and employment, and how that creates additional social divisions within society. So the ideas towards social control are quite important here as well, but focusing towards a number of different age groups. So how can coming through education and being a young person, how can your experience of society be different to somebody who went through different employment 30, 40, 50 years ago? So going through on a chronological approach. So again, this block covers a number of different areas, but that's your first choice within subject block number 2, and that is social science. The second choice that you have within this block is business. And again, this block is focused into a number of different areas. It focuses towards business and business management, but it also focuses towards areas of accounting and finance as well. So if you fancy a degree that focuses towards business and goes towards accounting and finance, this is definitely a choice of a subject block for you. So it's understanding what people within organizations actually do. So people who run business and run management, how does that work compared to the people who work on the shop floor or work within a factory? What changes in terms of their roles and requirements to be able to have a successful business? So it's putting this business in context and understanding the different skills and roles that people play, but also not just what happens within the business, how that impacts on people within society in terms of the customer and consumer base, and thinking about the rules and regulations that actually govern everybody within a business strategy. So a number of areas towards contemporary issues of finance and economics are also covered within this block, and how to interpret financial statements and actually think about, if you're interested in setting up your own business, what pathway might you go down to be able to achieve something that you want to achieve. So again, if you're interested in a business related degree, this is definitely one of the subject choices that you should actually follow. So the final subject within block number 2 is the maths, computing and psychology. And again, this is your science related topic. This focus is broken up into 3 areas, as you can tell. One is maths, one is computer science, and one is psychology, but you cover them all within the block. A lot of it is focused towards an integrated approach, but there are individual elements within each of these. So focusing towards psychology, understanding how the brain actually works, understanding how the mind changes depending on the environment that you're in. Maths focuses a lot more towards integration for maths for scientists, so understanding the importance of maths regardless of which direction you want to go in within science, and giving you a basis within that. And then the computer science element focuses towards the fundamentals of coding and understanding how programs actually work. And as I mentioned with the integrated approach here, there's a number of innovative things going on within this block, especially focusing towards virtual reality and understanding how through virtual reality, there's key roles for not just psychology, but also computer science and maths developments, and the integration of each of these three areas to develop the field of virtual reality and what we perceive technology to be at the moment. So that's your third choice within this block. So the one compulsory block that everybody has to do through foundation year is the enhanced learning block. And through this block, we like to take you on a journey of 4 stages, and they're highlighted in bold on the left-hand side. So we have the being a student, understanding as you come through the door of Liverpool Hope University, what does it mean to be a student? So we focus a lot more towards adjusting to learning within university, getting you to understand what the processes are of being a student with us. So what the university stands for, what academic processes you need to go through, understanding academic regulations in terms of your assessment, but also understanding what the transition to university actually is, because we understand it's a lifestyle change. It's something that you won't necessarily have done before, whether that's living away from home, studying a number of different areas, actually being reliant financially on yourself. So we talk through a number of these different areas, and that's the key part to enhance learning as we start. The second part then focuses towards being a learner. So what does that mean in terms of assessments that you do, and what do we expect you to do as a student moving on to your subject related degree? So this might be focusing towards understanding different sources of information and understanding academic literature. It might be focused towards academic writing and working on your writing style and structure of particular pieces of work. But also it might be on note-taking and making your studying as streamlined as possible. So when you go to a lecture, what information do you need to extract? Do you need to write everything down, or can you just pick out the key bits of information? We focus a lot towards that as well. And one of the key areas that we focus to in these first 2 structures in terms of being a student and being a learner is your time management and planning, because we understand when you go to university, you want to experience everything that university has to offer. So not just in terms of the university itself, but also the city that it's located in. So whether that's going and experiencing the nightlife and other social attractions, whether that's being part of a sports team or other groups, we understand that that comes as part of the package of being a student. So time management towards your studies is equally as important, because we need you to think about how that maps onto your everyday week. As we move towards the second part of the enhanced learning, we focus towards being a researcher and understanding the importance of research within any sort of discipline that you go into. Liverpool Hope University is a research-informed teaching university, so we utilise the current trends within every subject that you could possibly go into to make sure that the content is current. But as part of foundation year and part of this enhanced learning, we like to get you to understand what research actually is and how that underpins everything that we do in terms of what we deliver to you in the teaching when you go into your subject related degree. And then the final part is being a citizen. And even though it's structured as a final part, we actually integrate that throughout the foundation year. So this is where we talk about developing you and developing your personal skills to prepare you for not just everyday life, but also your academia and also your work and employment life as well. So we have a number of different focuses towards career pathways within this and development of different skills that are going to help you across every different part of life. So this enhanced learning is a 60 credit block. This is compulsory for everybody. You choose your 2 subject blocks to go on the side. Now, I should say at this point that the enhanced learning runs directly parallel to what happens at Creative Campus, and I'm going to go on to that in a second, but the subject choices are slightly different. But what you've just seen here is if you're going to do a discipline at Hope Park and you're doing a degree that does not include a creative subject or does not include a sport-related subject, then this will be focused towards Hope Park, and that is in the model that I've just described. If you do something that has a creative focus to it, so whether it's a single honours in any of the degrees that are presented on the screen, or you do a combined honours that has a creative element, again, that links to any of these degrees, then you ideally would do your foundation year at Creative Campus. And this is structured slightly differently to what we actually have at Hope Park. And this is focused that you only choose 1 subject block. So we effectively have 60 credits towards the enhanced learning and study skills and 60 credits towards 1 of your 3 subjects that you can see at the top of the screen. So this is either your performance block, this is either the visual art block, or this is either the music block. So you choose 1 of those 3. That is your main focus of study throughout the year. And then the other block is your study skills through enhanced learning. And again, as I say, this is based at Creative Campus. So I will give you a bit of a flavor about what that looks like when this moves on to the next slide. Apologies. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. There we go. So the foundation year at Creative, as I said, is structured slightly differently in terms of you choose 1 of the 3 subject blocks. So you either choose music, you choose performance, or you choose visual art. Now, the content within each of those areas focuses wholly towards which block that you choose. But the difference with the foundation year at Creative is that instead of at the end of the year you doing a major assessment within 1 of the subjects, you actually bring those together in a collaborative project. So whichever area that you choose, whether it be music, performance, or visual art, you utilize the skills that you've developed through your subjects, but then work with other students to create this collaborative project at the end where you bring all of your expertise from the individual subjects together to create 1 big performance that's hosted at Creative Campus. So there are a number of different sessions involved, and again, I'll cover these as I move towards the end of the presentation. But as you can see, at Creative Campus, there's lectures and seminars focused towards the individual disciplines. And then the lectures and tutorials are focused towards the creative and study skills. That's the enhanced learning focus that we talked about before. And then the seminar focuses towards the professional arts organization and collaboration, which builds you in process to go towards that collaborative performance at the end. The assessments at Creative Campus are focused towards, again, the collaborative and Viva assessments, but also through a number of different portfolio pieces as it goes through the year. So whether this be through an essay on your individual subject or a presentation on a particular aspect of something that you're interested in, there's an array of different assessments that are covered, not just at Creative Campus, but also across the other areas of our foundation year as well. And these are to give you the basis and understanding of what are expected when you go onto your degree pathway within the subject that you've chosen. So in terms of what our students have actually said previously, I've picked out a couple. There's an array of different positive reviews that we've had for foundation year, and wholly it's down to what you want to get out of it. So some students, again, want to come onto foundation year because they don't feel ready to go directly onto a degree program. Some want to have develop their own personal skills and understand what university is about before they go on to their degree pathway. There's a number of different backgrounds that students come in on. And as you can see here, we've got an abstract from Bethany, and she said that she wants more of a bridge of a gap between school and university and build confidence within a particular study, so towards a subject block. And she also wants to understand what Hope is about in terms of its campus feel, because again, we are slightly different to other universities in that we are based on one campus, a little bit further out of town, but it has more of a family feel to it. And then the second one from Leah that you can see on the right hand side, she wants to focus more toward development of study skills. So wants to develop more towards her academic writing and her presentation skills. But she also wanted to interact with other students and tutors before she went on to her degree pathway. So I mentioned before about the sport-related foundation year. The sport-related foundation year is wholly based at Carmel College, and you apply through them to be able to do that. So if you're interested in a degree in sport and exercise science or sport and physical education, you will do the foundation year at Carmel College. And the focus here is that you will cover a number of different areas related towards sport and PE. So that's focused towards coaching and teaching. You're focused towards areas of sports psychology, anatomy and physiology, and some areas of sports sociology and management. So there's an array of different sport-related topics that are covered within the foundation year at Carmel College, and they provide you the pathway to be able to progress onto these 2 degrees. So this is probably one of the most important slides that we will go through in this session today, and this gives you a bit of a flavour about not just the content, but how we actually go about teaching and delivering the foundation year. So every subject block that you choose, so whether it be education, whether it be humanities, social science, maths and computing and psychology, or whether it be the sport-related topics at Carmel, or whether it be the creative subjects in terms of music or performance, they all have a lecture attached to those. So the structure for within each individual subject block is that you will cover 4 hours of contact a week, unless you're a creative campus, and that is 6. So you will do 1 hour of lecture, you will do 1 2-hour seminar, and you will do one 1-hour tutorial. You will have that for each of your subjects. Now the tutorials are on a 1-to-10 basis in terms of the ratio. So that means that you have 1 tutor to 10 students within that class, and you stay in that same class all the way through the year, and that tutor becomes your personal tutor. And that's really important to us because we want to get to know you on a personal level to help you in terms of the direction that you want to go within your degree. So what opportunities do you need to develop not just your personal skills or your academic skills, but also your employability skills? So we really feel that those tutorial systems are really important. Within the enhanced learning and the study skills, there is no lecture attached to that unless you are a creative campus, where it focuses towards the collaboration side. But you do 1 seminar focused towards your development of different skills. Again, that's 2 hours. And then your tutorials, there's 2 1-hour tutorials where you apply those skills a little bit broader. So the contact hours per week is 12 hours, unless you're at a Carmel, and that is set at 15. In terms of how you are assessed, I briefly mentioned before about we use an array of different assessment methods at Liverpool Hope University on the foundation year. And this is to provide you with the basis to be able to develop and understand what we expect when you go onto your subject related degree. So we focus towards a number of different essays and report approaches. We do presentations, whether that's individually or as a group. We do a lot of practical focus to make sure that your practical skills are developed right towards the subject that you want to go into. We have poster and presentation work, and we introduce some elements of research and performance in there as well. And the idea is that we give you the opportunity to have a go at these, understand what we want and understand the processes involved with those, but to provide you with the feedback to be able to develop those and make sure you've got that first footing when you go onto your subject related to degree. So that's how we structure it in terms of the foundation year. So as I come towards the end now, I'm just going to give you an overview in terms of the entry requirements. So as I said previously, we have a number of different students that come from different backgrounds, whether it be that they didn't quite get the grades that they wanted to go onto their subject related degree, or they're coming back into education, or they actually did get the grades, but they feel that they want to experience the foundation year and develop some personal or academic skills in preparation to go onto the subject related degree. But as it currently stands, the entry requirements for foundation year with us is 72 UCAS points. But if you have additional experience in other areas, then we will consider them on a case-by-case basis. But fundamentally, it is 72 UCAS points. The fees per year are £9,250 per year of study, unless you do the foundation year of sport at Carmel, and that's £6,250. But remember, if you are a financial student, you do, a full-time UK student, you do qualify for full or student financial support for the full duration of your course, and that includes a placement year. And again, I'll talk about that on the next slide. So make sure that you're fully aware in terms of the financial support that is available to you, regardless of whether you do foundation year or you don't. So the final slide that I'm going to talk about today is the additional opportunities that you have with us. So you have the opportunity to study abroad. So if you want to go and experience university life within your subject in America, Canada, Australia, the possibilities are endless with that, as long as it aligns with what your degree pathway is. You have the opportunity to do that. You have the Service and Leadership Awards, where you can work within the communities and opportunities to go abroad with that as well. We have a range of different extracurricular activities. We have our sports teams and our societies. So there's some of those available on the website, so please have a little look at those. Excuse me. We have Global Hope as well, which is an initiative by the university and part of the ethos of the university to actually engage with community projects at home and abroad. Again, some of the information related to that is on the website. We have a number of field trips related towards the degree programs that you go on to, so make sure you go to your degree talk today, because they will give you some information on that. And we have a number of links with local businesses, networks, organization and partnerships for them to come in and give specific talks to us as well to enhance the provision of your degree. And I briefly mentioned before about the placement year. So every student, regardless of whether they do foundation year, has the opportunity to do a placement year and a year in industry. And that happens after your second year, which we know is level I of your degree subject. So if you did your foundation year, that would be between year 3 and year 4 of your degree. And again, information is available to you on the website for that, but you don't have to declare that you're interested in that until later on within your degree, and that's usually after the second year. So that brings me to the end of the talk for today's foundation year session, and I'm a little bit wary that I've gone over the half an hour. But if you are interested in the foundation year, there is a lot of information available on the website. And if you have additional questions, then feel free to either ask them now within this talk, or feel free to contact us on any of the media that you see on the slide, so whether that's through email or social media. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and hopefully the foundation year is of interest to you, and we will see you very soon. Thank you very much.